this morning. Welcome to the Europe Day EU Careers at the European Institutions event today. As you might know, on the 7th of May, for the first time since 2 years, the European institutions are opening their doors again physically in Brussels, Strasbourg, and Luxembourg. We were thinking a lot what we should do today in order to talk to as many of you as possible. So that's why we came to that idea that we would like to talk to you online today, and we organize this online event. When I say we, it's the European Personnel Selection Office, EPSO, and the European Commission. And with that, I come to the introduction of our guests today as well. On my left, there is Zornitza Venkova, who is the Deputy Head of Unit of DG HR's Corporate Internal Communication Unit. And on my right is my colleague Koen Hendrix. We both work at EPSO in the external communication team. We are doing lots of outreach. We are trying to communicate to everyone interested about EU careers. And my name is Rita Hinek. I think I didn't say that yet. So I think now we have more people who joined in. I think we can very, very slowly start. Yep. Our conversation this morning is going to be more or less 30 minutes. And I would like to go already with my first question, probably to Koen. As an introduction, Koen, we were talking about our team in the European Personnel Selection Office where we both work. Could you please tell us a bit more about how we are selecting, what we are doing, what EPSO is about?
All right, indeed. So the European Personnel Selection Office does exactly what it says. It selects staff for all EU institutions. Now, when I say all EU institutions, there's a family of institutions and bodies that you can work in. And I'm sure you know several of them. I'm sure you know the European Parliament. I guess you are familiar with the Council of the European Union. And then there's, of course, the European Commission. Then we also have two courts. There's the European Court of Auditors and the European Court of Justice, where you can work. Then we have the European External Action Service. That is the body that runs all the European embassies. We call them the delegations outside of the European Union. Then we have two committees. There's the Economic and Social Committee, and there's the Committee of the Regions, where you can work. Then there's also the European Ombudsman and the European Data Protection Supervisor. So those are the 10 institutions where you can work. And altogether, these institutions employ about 40,000 staff, of which roughly 30,000 work for the Commission alone. So the Commission is by far the largest institution. Second would be the Parliament, with about 3,000 to 4,000 staff. And then you've got the other institutions that are a bit smaller in size. The headquarters of these institutions are based in Brussels and Luxembourg. Apart from one, the Ombudsman is based in Strasbourg. So chances are that whenever you join us, you start your career in Brussels or Luxembourg, because that is where about 80% of all staff works. The remaining 20% works in other cities outside Brussels or Luxembourg. We have what we call representations in each member state's capital. We have joint research centers. These are European research centers in a number of member states. We have also a network of agencies all over the EU. We have different agencies working for the EU. And then we have these delegations, which I mentioned up front. Those are the bodies outside of the European Union that have the link with the countries outside of the EU. So this is basically where you can end up working. This is the whole family that we select staff for.
That's great. That gives us the scope. But then being a bit more specific, Zornitza, can you tell us a bit, because Koen just mentioned that the Commission is the biggest institution, isn't it? Can you tell us a bit about the Commission's role, how it works? What are the challenges at the moment?
Sure, of course. Hello from my part too. The European Commission is proposing laws, running programs. This is the executive body of the European institutions. Of course, all this in service of the European citizens. Of course, when we are proposing these laws, all this is done on the basis of a very wide consultations with different stakeholders, from national parliament to employers group or trade unions or other different organizations, and to citizens, indeed. We are also running the EU budget, making sure that these European laws, when they are adopted by the member states in the Council and by the European Parliament, then the member states are really implementing them correctly. And we are, of course, supporting different supporting the distribution of international aid, because the European Union, you may know, is one of the biggest donor in the world. I can give you some example. For example, already this week, the European Commission launched the European Health Data Space, which is something that will boost significantly the way that healthcare is provided in Europe, and it will give the possibility to European citizens to control and to use their health data in their own countries, but also in the other member states. For example, this is one of the legislation where the proposal comes after the consultation with a wide variety of stakeholders, including after an online consultation with citizens. Another example that I'm sure many of our viewers are familiar with is the Erasmus Program, which is run by the European Commission, and which since its creation have helped over 3 million students to participate in this exchange program. Of course, you mentioned that we are 33,000. Indeed, we are too many, but this diversity, this number is not so huge. This number is not exceeding the number of civil servants in the municipality in the big cities in Europe. And what is maybe interesting is that we are as diverse and as from point of view of backgrounds and as the society we are serving. So if you are interested, we are really touching in a very wide variety of policies, working on a wide variety of policies. So if you're interested, don't hesitate to apply for work in the Commission.
I heard here two words, apply and variety at the very end. What are the contracts? What are the variety of contracts you can tell us about, Koen?
Yeah, indeed. So if you want to work with us, we have, as you say, different contracts on offer. The biggest group of staff here is what we call a civil servant or an EU official. And these are people with a contract for life, really. So you enter as a civil servant and you can make your whole career by staying with us until you retire as an EU official. Apart from that group of civil servants, we also have what we call contract agents. And as the word it says, these people have a contract limited in time. Usually that's a contract of about 3 years, which can be renewed once. So up to 6 years, you can work under the statute of a contract agent with us. Then we also have what we call temporary agents. Temporary agents work usually in agencies. You heard me tell about these different agencies all over the EU. There you'll find lots of temporary agents, people with a degree and specific work experience in a specific field, and they can work in these different agencies and bodies as a temporary agent. Then we also have what we call seconded national experts. Seconded national experts are civil servants in their home country, and they are seconded to the EU, and they come and work with us for a number of years and share their knowledge and expertise with us while they work with us here. And then there's a very nice category of staff, which are the trainees. Every single EU institution offers the opportunity to become a trainee with them. And that's a nice opportunity to find out about the internal cuisine of the institutions. The Commission, for instance, runs the biggest traineeship in the world. They welcome 18 to 1900 trainees a year in 2 shifts of 5 months, one traineeship starting in March and one starting in October. And that's really a nice way to get to know the EU institution from inside out.
Sounds great. You mentioned here permanent officials, and I think we need some more information to that, Zornitza. So permanent officials, when they are hired, do they remain in the same job all their professional life, or is it there something more exciting about that?
Thanks very much for this question, because it may be not very clear for everybody, but the answer is definitely no. As a matter of fact, once you get into the European Commission, you're even encouraged after 5 years in the same position to move to another position, to move on another, in another department, let's say, or within the same department, but doing something else. And of course, this is possible because there is a lot of learning opportunities inside. So you can really have the possibility, if you enter, for example, as a policy officer, and you are dealing with some particular policy, but then you decide that you want to deal with the communication. You can follow, for example, the internal training that exists, that we have put in place. And after concluding a good number of courses, you can then have the reassurance first yourself, but then you have also the possibility to apply for jobs related to communication. And this is just one of the many examples. Another thing is that, for example, you can enter as assistant, and I'm sure Koen will tell you a little bit more about this, but then you can follow some kind of, we call this certification, and then you can move and become an administrator. So you have the possibility to move horizontally, but also vertically, because of course you have the possibility to grow in the job and to be first the desk policy officer, and then became maybe team leader, deputy head of unit, director general. So you have this, of course, this possibility. And there is a third thing that may be interesting for you, that it is not, when you start working, for example, in Brussels, you're not obliged to stay all your life, your career in Brussels. You have quite a lot of possibility to move, for example, in Luxembourg, to move in Italy, in EPSO, where it's the third biggest site of the European Commission, but also in the representations in the member states, and you can also apply for work in the delegations around the world. So you have plenty of possibility for this kind of professional and even physical mobility, and not to mention that you can also, if you start in the Commission, to move and work for the Parliament on a later stage, come back to the Commission, and this is also a possibility that exists.
Thank you. There's plenty of mobility, as we can hear. Koen, I'm turning to you, and I would like to ask you to give some examples on the profiles, because I think there's a huge variety geographically, also with the different priorities, challenges we have at the moment. How about the profiles? How does it reflect there, what we are looking for?
Indeed, a good point you mentioned there. So I'm sure you can think of some profiles that we need in the EU institutions here. Of course, we need many lawyers, right? Because we produce legislation, as Zornitza already mentioned. We need many economists, because we are an economic union. We need lots of linguists, we need translators and interpreters, because we communicate in 24 official EU languages. So those are big groups of staff, if you like. Now, apart from these, we basically need people with any given background. We need specialists in IT, in finance, in accounting. We need web designers, we need scientists, we need psychologists, we need biologists, we need journalists, we need drivers, we need secretaries. I mean, I can go on. There is really a job for anyone with any background or degree. That's really the message I want to give. If you think about working for the EU as a project, if you want to give something back to society, if you want to help promote the EU project, well, this is the place to be, because here you work on a supranational level on all of these different topics and policies, and you really help to shape Europe together. So I would only say, come here and join us.
But before you all jump off and go and apply, I think we should hear a little bit about what it's really like to work at the Commission. Zornitza, could you give us kind of a few insight? How does it look like if someone starts a career at the Commission? How is it as an employer, let's say?
Yes, of course, when you enter the commission, of course, the first thing that, and I'm sure you're looking for, is an interesting job, and a job with a strong purpose. And as Koen was saying, it's really very noble work, on my humble opinion, to work in service of all our European citizens. So you have this really opportunity for very interesting and, well, from time to time challenging job that can touch on wide variety on policies. You have a plenty opportunity for training. We are really offering different kind of opportunity, not only to learn many languages. This is something that is for me quite an added value, but to learn new skills, new competencies that will give you also the opportunity for this mobility that we were talking a little bit earlier, which gives, of course, the opportunity to try several areas of work throughout your career. Of course, I mentioned it before, we need to serve a very diverse society, so we have to reflect this society. So, and of course, what you meet in the European institutions, and especially in the Commission, is this vibrant, multicultural community of people, which I would say it's very enriching and very pleasant to work with and in. And of course, something that is very important, at least for me and for my colleagues, is that our institution is offering also, is caring a lot about the work-life balance. And we are offering flexible working conditions, possibility to work remotely from home for a certain period of time during the week. So indeed, we care about the well-being of our staff. Our workplace is environment friendly. I mean, we are preaching what we are suggesting and proposing to the member states. For example, a month ago, the College of Commissioners adopted a decision that the Commission will become climate neutral by 2030, which is basically 20 years earlier than the target set for the entire European Union. And of course, this means greener buildings, fewer buildings for the Commission, buildings that are using renewable energy, solar panels, but also encouraging staff to use more public transport, to walk more, to cycle more, not only because it's also good for their health, but also because it's good for the nature. I'm not even mentioning that we're reducing the use of paper, even trying to, where possible, instead of traveling, to use video conferences and to use a greener travel. And I can go on and go on as much as possible, quite a lot, say quite a lot of other things. But maybe something that may be interesting for you too is, of course, because most of our colleagues and most of you, if you became a laureate of a concours and you come and join us, you need to leave your country, your home country, and came either here or in Luxembourg or somewhere in the other side. So we are also offering quite attractive financial package with a good health insurance, with a good pension scheme, and for those who have kids, also European schools that where your kids can continue study on their native language and learn more languages. And of course, we are proud to be equal opportunity employer, and we promote the diversity.
Thank you so much. It's a lot, isn't it?
Isn't it?
So I hope many of our viewers would like to be selected, and that's the word. What I would like to give to Koen now. How is EPSO selecting the staff?
Indeed, that's a big question, right? How to join us? How can you become one of our staff members here at the EU institutions? Let me say a word first on how to become a civil servant, an EU official. If you want to become an EU official, you need to take part in a selection procedure, of course, which we call a competition or a concours in French. And everything starts on our website. You see it behind Zornitza there, eu-careers.eu. That's where you will find a list of current and upcoming opportunities. So first thing to do is to find a competition which matches your profile. Once you found one, you apply and you will be invited to a series of tests. Now, we offer competitions on different levels and for different fields. We have competitions on graduate level. Graduate level meaning you need a university degree to be able to be eligible, to be able to apply. And you would, if you are successful, enter the category of administrators. So Zornitza mentioned these administrators earlier on. We also have competitions on an executive level, a non-graduate level, which would lead to a career as an assistant. So those are the two career paths that we offer. Graduates are administrators and non-graduates are assistants. We run competitions year-round for both of these categories of staff. Then we have the difference between competitions where you do need a certain number of years of experience in a field. And we have competitions where we do not ask for any work experience. To give you an example, soon in June, we will publish a competition for specialists in the field of space and for specialists in defense. And these are people who are highly specialized. We need people with at least 6 years of experience in the field of space and defense. That's just to give you an example of an upcoming competition. As I said, you'll find a list on the website, and this list is of course updated regularly. Next year, we will publish again opportunities for people without work experience. So for entry-level graduates, administrators at level AD5, that's the entry level for young graduates. So that's for 2023. Now, how does such a competition look like? It will have always several stages. As I said, everything starts with an application on the website. You have to apply within a given application period. And once you have applied, you will be invited to a series of tests. The first round of testing will always be a reasoning skills test. We want to see how good you are at verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, and abstract reasoning. If you pass that stage, and if you take part in a specialist competition, a competition where we require a number of years of experience in the field, we will of course test your competency in that field. And then for each competition, the last stage would be what we call an assessment center. And in this assessment center, we test a number of general competencies, such as, can you communicate easily, orally and in writing? Can you work in teams? Can you analyze problems? Can you prioritize your work? These kind of things. We test these competencies through a number of tests, usually 2 tests, one of which can be a case study, which is a written exercise. It can be an oral presentation you have to do. And there will always be, of course, an interview with the selection board. You can sit all these tests remotely. You don't have to travel. You don't have to come to Brussels or Luxembourg to sit these tests. You can do them online, remotely from a computer, from your home, to make your life easy. Once you are successful in a competition, you are a laureate or a successful candidate, and these people are the ones that are then recruited by these different institutions that I mentioned earlier on.
This is time for contract agents.
For contract agents, it's a bit different. It's good that you mentioned this. You heard me say that we have this category of staff that has a contract limited in time. Now, on our website, you will find a list of about 15 different profiles under this contract agent statute. We have people in profile of communication that we need, in HR, in finance, in law, in project management. There are different profiles on offer, and you can actually register for any of these profiles, even more than one. As of today, these registration periods have no deadline, so you can always register for one or more of these profiles. And that's quite interesting, because actually what you can do is you can register for these profiles, and when an institution needs to fill vacancies in these profiles, they will scan the list of people registered, and they will pre-select a number of interesting profiles to fill that vacancy. These people will be sent to EPSO, and we will test these people. We will test their reasoning skills, same thing, verbal, numerical, and abstract reasoning, and we will test their competency in the field of the profile. If they are successful, they can be hired and offered a contract.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for all insights and explanations so far. And as I can see, we are actually nearing towards the end. So is there, Zornitza, something else you would like to tell our viewers who are interested in EU careers? We have still a few minutes.
Yes, thanks. Maybe three things. One of the things is, if you're interested in European policies, but you're not completely convinced that you want to work for the European Commission, I would strongly invite you to apply first for a traineeship, which will give you a quite good overview what is it like to work for the Commission. Second, if you want to learn more about what the Commission is doing, I would invite you to go on our website, which is eceuropa.europa.eu, and where you can also find quite a lot of information about the activities that are running throughout the weekend here in Brussels. As you mentioned, our doors are open for those who are interested, not only Brussels, but in Luxembourg, in Strasbourg, in the member states, mainly on the 9th of May, because all these, let's say, activities are leading towards Monday, where on 9th of May, we are commemorating the Schuman Declaration, which basically represented an ambitious plan for a long-lasting peace in post-war Europe, which is considered as the beginning of the European Union. And if, let's say, 12 weeks ago, this may looks a little bit outdated, I think that nowadays working for peace is continues to be a very important part, and for us all, and for the European Commission in particular.
Thank you.
I could also add a couple of maybe practical things. If ever you think about coming to work with us and taking part in a competition, for instance, make sure your language skills are well, because we will test you in 2 languages, 2 European languages. And also go and have a look at our sample tests on our website. You can find different examples of all these different tests you have to sit. Have a look at them, train them a bit, because the more you rehearse and train this, the better you get at it, and the better you will perform at the right time when you sit these tests.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zornitza. Thank you, Koen. And a big thank you to all viewers this morning. Thank you for your attention, and we really hope that you will stay in touch with us. Please follow us on social media. You can see it, EU Careers. We are all over. We are on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I think I named them all. LinkedIn very importantly. This is where you learned about this event probably today. So we hope to keep in touch with you, and we also hope that we will see you very soon in Brussels or somewhere else in Europe in real life. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
And
See
don't
you.
be shy, apply.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.